Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen and win.
Hey everyone. Gosh, I love that song. Anyway, welcome to a rainy and cold Wednesday, Dion's Daily Dose. Today we have the second Republican candidate for sheriff, Andy Morse, joining us. So what I'm going to do is, just like I did for candidate Heeg, I am going to read the bio, and then it will kick over to Dion and Andrew so they can get the ball rolling because they have a ton to talk about. So I'm going to read the bio that Andy sent Dion, and it is going to be quoted because it's in first person, and I love how personal it is. So this is the bio that Andy sent in. Quote, "My greatest accomplishment in life is being the father of 3 awesome kids, Emma, Blake, and Alexander. I was lucky enough to be engaged at last year's Red Wine and Brew Fest to my beautiful fiancé, Elizabeth, and I am soon to be a stepfather to 3 more awesome kids, Payton, Michael, and Ian. I enjoy everything outdoors and am a 2-time finisher of the Chicago Marathon. I grew up in Springfield Township, and I currently live in Northeast Center Township. I'm a 1995 graduate of Rogers High School, a 2003 graduate of the 156th session of the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in Plainfield, Indiana. I am currently assigned to the day shift of the Patrol Division, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I am a former canine handler, which I did for 11 years, handling canines Mirza and Jaeger, who both were certified in patrol narcotics and have both unfortunately now passed. I am a member of the Indiana Department of Homeland Security District 1 Law Enforcement Task Force and have been since its inception in 2009. Through this, I have traveled the country receiving training in civil unrest and domestic terrorism. I have completed the National Association of School Resource Officers, NASRO, basic and advanced courses, and currently work my days off as a school resource officer out at New Prairie Middle School. I also provide security services at La Lumiere School when needed. So that is the bio that was sent in by Andy Morse. And without further ado, we're going to turn it over to Dion and Andy so you can learn all about our second Republican sheriff candidate. Dion?
All right, there we go. Okay, so Sean said he's sort of having issues with the feed, trying to sort out what's going on. But in the meantime, hopefully he can let us know what's happening and I can fix it on the fly here. Hopefully I can fix it while you give your little intro. For those of you who have never seen the show before, I'm Dion Bergeron, and I'm going to introduce you to Andy Morse, running to be sheriff for LaPorte County. Now, as you know, sheriff is an absolutely critical position. It is in my opinion, one of the most important, if not the most important position in the county. It protects us from governmental overreach. Sheriff is critically important. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over, and Andy can tell you about himself and why he would do something so brave. Here you go.
How you guys doing? Like Liz said, I'm Andrew Morse. I'm 44 currently, but I'm going to be turning 45 years old here next month, May 12th. And Ron Heeg, who you had on the show the other night, is also running for sheriff. He's 8 days older than I am. We went to school all our lives together. We've known each other our whole lives. But I did grow up in Springfield Township. I went to Springfield Elementary School, Krieger Junior High School, and graduated in 1995 of Michigan City Rogers. It was the last year of Rogers High School. From there, I worked in various different jobs. In school, I was a burger flipper. I worked at McDonald's for quite a few years, earned a rank of, I guess it was a manager position, as much manager as I could be at 16 years old. From there, I went to Harbor Automotive, Harbor Chevrolet, where I ran the detail shop at Harbor Chevrolet. And then from there, I went into the construction business where I ran a concrete crew, probably at the age of 18 to I think I was 18 years old, 19 years old, fresh out of high school. Went and poured lots and lots of concrete, and ran a crew of 3 or 4 guys. From there, I went to D&M Excavating in Michigan City, where I drove the porta pot truck. Yeah, great job, great pay, great company to work for. And from there, I was able to obtain my dream of being a police officer, which started back in 1989, I guess you could say, when I was a kid and watched the first episode of Cops. Watched some guys I've said this before, in the back of a pickup truck, or actually it was a El Camino in a cardboard box. They jump out on a bunch of guys dealing drugs, and I think I was hooked from there and watched, I'd probably say, every episode of that since then. And in 2000, I was able to do a lot ride along with then Deputy Kluge, Bruce Kluge, who was a canine officer. And that one day said it. I was a cop. I put my application in and was blessed being hired in the jail in 2003 or 1, where I worked for 2.5 years, working the floors and with the inmates. And from there, I was hired in 2003 to patrol the highways and county roads of LaPorte County, serving the people of LaPorte County. And from that, I was on patrol, working a swing shift through the years. And in 2008, we had a canine retire. Her name was Mirza.
Yeah.
And she was an awesome dog. She was 8 years old, but they retired her. She had some issues going on, I guess, with the other handler. And I was like, you know what? I can take her. I want to do it, and her detection skills were still on point. And her and I got the blessing to be partnered together in 2009, where I worked, I completed Midwest Canine Training Academy with her for 6 weeks, and she was awesome. I mean, she was a Belgian Malinois, and just like Argo, Deputy Greer, the breed of Malinois, they're good police dogs for sure. And I worked the streets with Canine Mirza, doing numerous things for 4 years. We were able to join, like I said in my bio, the Indiana District 1, or Department of Homeland Security Task Force, where I'm still a member of, still active member of, and we've gotten to do all kinds of crazy training. From a good friend of that team is Nick Popovich. I don't know if you know Nick or not, but he's the original. Yeah, he's the original airplane repo man. Great guy, a great friend to law enforcement, great friend to first responders, great friend to armed forces. The things that man has done for those services is crazy, and he's still doing it to this day. But anyway, we got to do a lot of fun training through that team. I've been to New Mexico. I went to Lafayette, and we did some civil unrest training, 3 days of riot training in the rain, pouring rain for 3 days. It was 3 days of going, move back, move back, move back. It was interesting. We learned a lot of good things down there, but I have gone through a lot of trainings with that team. Again, went to New Mexico. I've been down there twice to New Mexico Tech for civil unrest training and domestic terrorism training. It's an interesting place down there. You go out in the middle of the desert. They actually explode a car with 150 pounds of ANFO, and wow,
that sounds fun.
The percussion that made, there's just nothing like it. It's scary, actually. It's really scary, the damage and destruction that can be done here, in America with American products. It's
very
not
little,
just foreign stuff. Yeah.
Very little household products. People don't realize how incredibly easy it is. And I'm not saying this to scare people, because if people were going to do it, they'd already be doing it. But
right. Thankfully, they're not. Thankfully, it's very sporadic, and thankfully we don't have a lot of that, because that's dangerous stuff. Dangerous stuff. But I also, through that team, I'm not sure what year it was, but we got to travel out to Las Vegas for some biochemical training, hazardous material SWAT training type situations, where we spent a week out in Mercury, Nevada, which is in the middle of nowhere. They take you all the way out, and you've probably seen it on the movies whenever they have a nuclear explosion. of the wooden house that disappears.
Yeah.
I was there. That was test sites in I think it was 1950s that they did that. And it's called the Apple II house. There's still a structure sitting there, just wood, out in the middle of nowhere, where they set off these explosions, nuclear explosions, atomic explosions. I'm not well versed in on the whole lingo of the words of which bomb did what, but you can Google like the Sudan crater, and I stood right there, and the amount of earth that thing dispersed is just incredible. It's crazy. But yeah, the training, I think we were within a mile of Area 51 out there, so that tells you how vast the ground. We went a mile or about an hour and a half out in the desert for these things. There's just nothing around.
I bet
Sand
you they
and
were
rocks.
watching you the whole time.
Probably. There's a lot of signage out there.
Oh yeah.
But again, Mirza served on that team. I served on that team, and then 2013, unfortunately, she passed away. She was training one day. We were at the bus garage in Michigan City doing some bus searches and training, and then she flipped her stomach. They call it bloat. She unfortunately flipped her stomach, and then in surgery, we found she had cancer. So ultimately, the sheriff then, and because I couldn't say, let's put her down. I knew that was the best thing for her, but I couldn't do that. But thankfully, stronger-minded people were there to help me make the right decision for sure. I knew it was the right decision, but no owner, and they're your babies. You spend 8 hours a day with them, 16 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Yeah, I don't know personally what it's like, but I worked with canine officers at Indiana State Prison, and I've read lots of things. The bond that develops between the canine and their partner, because it's more than your household pet. You guys have to rely on them for your life, and they rely on you. The things that I've read, it's incredible. So.
Absolutely. They ask for nothing, and their main purpose is to make sure you and the others go home safely, and they don't care. They just sacrifice their own bodies to make sure that they're serving you, and the bond is nothing like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing like it. When you're 6 inches away from a dog 8 hours a day, it's definitely. But in 2013,
Go ahead.
Yeah, in 2013, like I said, she passed away, and then I was able to obtain canine Jaeger a month later. It was quick. It was rather quick. But Jaeger from day one wanted to eat my face off. He was a German Shepherd, but he was something else. But from day one, I snatched him up out of the cage, and we walked back to his kennel, and he only bit me a few times after that, but not in a mean way. But you learn quickly not to quickly put a tennis ball in your pocket, because Jaeger wants his tennis ball.
Right.
So you get bit in the belly because he wants that tennis ball. But absolutely.
Yeah.
Both dogs were trained in patrol, which is tracking and finding people, not necessarily all bad people, but finding anybody lost. And we found lost kids. I found bad guys. I found elderly people. Their tracking skills are just top notch, but you got to stay on top of it. You definitely train.
Yeah.
And they do bite. They're not vicious animals, but they're just apprehension animals. They're trained to bite and bite and hold, and that's what both dogs did, and they did it well. Both dogs got some street bites. Unfortunately, people don't want to give up, and for some reason they run right past a car that's shaking and barking. I mean, that's just not normal. I wouldn't do that. But hey.
No.
Hey, okay. But Jaeger, they were both trained in narcotics detection too. So with that, I've worked, a lot of different patrols, getting called to assist a lot of different agencies. I've been up to Michigan helping assist with burglary suspects. Michigan City, Stark County had that was one of Mirza's first bites. Stark County had a guy escape from jail, and they ultimately found him in a house hiding under a mattress, and he wasn't giving up. Mirza got him. We got him put back in jail. So, and everybody went home safe. But yeah, we found a lot of narcotics on our streets, which everybody knows is a huge problem, not just in Porte County, but everywhere. It's sad. And now with marijuana being legalized, I mean, they were both trained to find that, and it's still illegal in Indiana. But Mirza's largest fine was 187 pounds in one van. So that was a proud moment for me.
187 pounds? Like, did that all
Yeah.
fit in the van?
It did. It was weird. The guy was from Canada, and he only had 5 large, brand new hockey duffel bags, and that's all they had in them was marijuana. Yeah, yeah. It was crazy. It was a good interdiction stop by the state police.
Yeah.
So I assisted them. Like I said, I've assisted all kinds of departments all around here. We never said no to anybody needing the assistance of those dogs, and we have a great program here in Porte County. We have 4 patrolling dogs, so we are getting called out all hours of the night. I don't know, you worked at Department of Correction, right?
Yeah, I worked at ISP.
Yeah, they had a few guys escape one time from Indiana State.
Yep.
And they were seen everywhere, everybody walking around in a suit or whatever. We were getting a lot of calls, so we spent many hours searching woods and creeks. I spent a lot of time in Trail Creek.
Oh yeah,
walking.
I remember there were a lot of people that were like, "I swear I saw him right over there."
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to go. You got to check. You got to eliminate those options, and you can't stop. That dog's taking you. You got to go through it, whether it's briars, barbed wire, trees that are 2 inches apart. I mean, you got to figure your way through it. The hardest thing to go through is like a cornfield. I mean, the leash gets tangled up in every corn stalk, and those dogs are amazing. The noses on them are just something else. But awesome. through the canine program, Jaeger, ultimately got sick himself. Yeah. He had an enlarged heart and he had some spine issues going on. So we had to retire him in 2020. And then ultimately he passed away last August. Oh, so wow. Okay. He didn't make it too long after retirement, but through that we learned some things. Most departments don't supply aftercare for the animals. Most of them don't. Yeah. Right. We're blessed at the Sheriff's Department. We do have a large canine donation fund, which, I'd like to think that I helped, gather a lot of funds for that department, because I would never say no to a canine demonstration. Right. We're always going to schools, events, dog days in LaPorte. And the biggest one is Red Wine and Brew Fest. Bobby Greer and myself and the others have donated and volunteered our time to that event since its inception. And Pastor Denny and Carrie Garwood have saints, absolute saints to the first wonderful things about that. If you haven't been to Red Wine, you got to get there. The event is just by far amazing. Every police officer, EMS, most everybody volunteers their time out there because it benefits us. It's the first responders that benefit from it. Carrie and Dennis and the Bethany community don't keep any of the money. They pay what they have, bills they have to pay, and they donate everything else back to the community. And it helps us tremendously. And Sheriff Boyd has put it all into the canine fund, which has helped pay for a lot of equipment, a lot of new dogs. A new dog costs $20,000. So that fund is definitely needed. But anyway, with that, unfortunately the Sheriff's Department couldn't keep paying for Jaeger's aftercare, but through donations, I got help through that. But it also helped myself, and Carrie Garwood was the lead on it, obviously, but I and a local attorney started a 501c3 for retired canines. It's called Lifelines for Canines, and you can look it up on Facebook or whatever like that. It's just getting started, but our ultimate goal is to make sure no handler has to pay for the aftercare. Make sure we pay the way for these retired dogs and all their health care. That's the ultimate goal. Okay, I found it. The next Red Wine and Brew is July 1st. July 1st. Yeah. July 1st. Yep, okay. It's I don't know the title of it, but it's July 1st. You got some great country artists from the 90s, which I'm a country music lover. Well, you got Aaron Tippin, Colin Ray, and I forget who. Oh, Sammy Kershaw. Sammy Kershaw, yep. Yeah, yep. And then Frank Ray. Frank Ray is a former police officer himself and has some pipes. That man can sing. So. Awesome. And then the Light It Up thing, talking with Carrie, that's a drone show that goes up in the air and does lights and fireworks and very unique aspect to the end of the show. But it's great. You get to meet a lot of good people through that. I've met country music singer Dylan Scott, who's topping the charts right now, and we still stay in contact. Myself and Bobby Greer again, stay in contact with the band, and we've Bobby's taken them to the gym and helped them work out while they're here, and it's just cool, just awesome. Really cool. It makes me look like a rock star because they let me take my kids there and meet the band, and just so cool, so that's cool. Awesome. But that red wine and brew is near and dear to me, and I'll continue to volunteer my time there no matter what. They have helped us tremendously. But anyway,
so I got a whole bunch of questions for you.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay,
what you got?
Right. So we're going to start with what I call rapid fire questions. People who have seen the show before, you'll recognize these. They're pretty standard, but they kind of help break the ice. First one, my personal favorite question on the list that to me is absolutely critical to determine whether or not you can earn my vote, and that is, how do you like your steak?
I like it from a cow. I don't like the fake steak.
Okay.
This unburger or whatever they call it. I just can't. I can't get it.
The impossible. What is it? Beyond burger or impossible burger?
Something. Yeah. I like mine Angus.
Okay.
From the cow. No, I can do medium rare.
Okay.
But usually medium. Usually.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm really gonna throw you off on this. When I was a kid, I couldn't eat it without ketchup. I had to have ketchup. People yelled at me. I got so many stares.
I understand. When I was very little, that's the only way I could eat it too. It wasn't until later that I learned that, it just masks the flavor of a good steak. But as kids, that's the way it is. Okay. So, what's your favorite sport?
Sport?
Yeah.
That would have to be football. My boys play football for New Prairie. They've played rocket football all the way from 5 years old. A close second would be baseball because all three of my kids played it, and we spent many hours down at the baseball diamonds, softball diamonds with my daughter. She started that addiction for us every night down at the baseball fields practicing. But now the boys, my daughter's since graduated. She's doing awesome. She's a junior in college, going to be wants to be a school teacher. So she's doing that, and working full time. She's crazy what she does with her time. But the boys are playing for New Prairie, and as you know, last year they did pretty darn good. And it's fun.
Last year, man, I saw.
Yeah,
they were rocking.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to watch. My freshman, obviously, he didn't play any varsity. I don't think he got any snaps, but he played freshman ball. And then my junior, he was out there killing it, and he wants to get bigger, better, stronger now. So he's hitting the gym every morning, going to school, and then hitting the gym in the afternoon. And
wow,
he's gonna be as big as Bobby
before you know it, right?
He does not have Bobby Greer genetics. Bobby Greer is a freak of nature. Yeah,
if you don't know, viewers, Bobby Greer is absolutely huge. He goes to powerlifting competitions. It does extremely well, I might add. Usually brings home the gold or very close. He's massive. I knew him when he was much smaller. I'm sure you knew him before he was even that big.
No, he was still a big dude when I met him. I think he started he started the LaPorte City Police Department. That's where I first met him. And then he came over to the Sheriff's Department. Him and I just become brothers. Okay. We got these silly tattoos together. I don't know if you can see that. That's Fat Bobby. And he's got Skinny Andy. That was one of those decisions. Hey, let's go do it. Why not?
Right.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Are you a Bears or Colts guy? Are you a Bears or Colts?
Bears or Colts?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to end this conversation. Go Pack, go. Go Pack, go.
Okay.
Even though I'm staring at a Bears sweatshirt here.
Right.
Some of the kids are Bears fans because their dad's a diehard Bears fan. And, we all can't be perfect. We just can't. But getting back to weightlifting, Bobby, I just left the gym with him, and that big glute had, I think it was 475 pounds on the bar. I got video. It's insane. We tease him. We call him Bobby. Me pick it up, me put it down. He can lift a car. He just unnatural, just crazy what he can do, and what he's done. He's done it all across the country. He's been to Costa Rica, LA, representing the police and fire games and the LaPorte County Sheriff's Office. And what an ambassador in weightlifting. I mean, he's bringing home medals every time he goes somewhere because there's just no quit in him. No quit in him. However, we just had physical tactics training, and I watched now Sergeant Keith Wilson, who's in jiu-jitsu and martial arts and MMA. Bobby didn't fare so well. Bobby got very, very, very red. He needs to work on his cardio.
Yeah, you hear that, Bobby? Get out there and work on that cardio.
Yeah, I think he's watching. Maybe, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, he made a comment. Yeah, there he is. See. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay, so what's your favorite thing about LaPorte County?
Man, well, my unfavorite thing is the weather. I mean, we've had snow this week, rain, and now it's going to be 80 this weekend. You know,
I'm ready for the 80 as long as it doesn't rain. It seems like every nice day we have, it has to pour down rain. I've been trying to get out on the bike, and it's like, come on, man. Right.
I've grown up here, you know, I've lived here. I know a lot of people here. There's a lot of great people that live here. It's a safe place to be. You know, when my kids are out and about, they're driving now. I do worry about them. Obviously there are some still bad drivers on these roads but LaPorte County is awesome. You know, we've got the beautiful lake. We got Pine Lake. We like outdoor sports, so it benefits us a lot. In the summer, we're up on Lake Michigan a lot, and envying all those big, beautiful houses up on the shores and catching the fish and trying to catch the fish. I'm okay at fishing, but yeah, and we're close enough to big cities. You know, we're right in the middle. If you like Chicago, which I'm not a fan of going into big cities like that. I'm a small town guy. You know, it's hustle and bustle, but the city can be cool. I've ran the Chicago Marathon twice, I heard that in your bio. That is awesome, man. You finished it, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's not finishing that.
Get in there and try, but I'm going to die halfway through. So the fact that you finished it is absolutely amazing. Twice, not just once, but twice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a goal of doing it when I'm 50. In 5 years, I hope to do it again because that'll be the 50th anniversary of the Chicago Marathon, and I think I'm just crazy enough to try it again. But yeah, that's 26 miles through that city, and you don't see the city like that normally. It's a Sunday morning, and it's some days, or one time it was cold, one time it was warm, but it's 26 miles, and people are every inch of that course cheering everybody on. There's 40,000 runners, and they're just standing there holding signs, cheering you on, volunteering, passing out. I mean, you go through all the different diverse neighborhoods, and it's just a party in every one of them. You know, they're having a blast, passing out beer in the middle. There's no way I could drink a beer in the middle of that race. But yeah, the first one I finished in 5 hours and 2 minutes. The second one was like, I hurt my knee. So it was like 5 hours and 20 some minutes, the second one. So yeah, it's straight running.
The fact that you finished is amazing.
The training is intense. It's absolutely intense. I don't know if you know where I live, but I live in northern Center Township here by US 20 and Range Road area. And I ran from here all the way to John's garage down in Wanata one day. Yeah. And thank goodness for cell phones, because again, I had to call on Bobby because I ran out of Gatorade. So he finds me. And of course, when he pulls up, he sees me walking. So yeah, I got teased about that. But he helped out. He brought me some Gatorade, and then I made it to my destination, and he brought me home. And I definitely fell asleep in the passenger seat on the way home. It was tiring.
I can imagine.
But that's 20 miles. So
well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get into the little harder questions now. First of all, obviously, all of these questions are assuming you win the primary and then assuming that you win the general election, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's focus on the primary because that's your first hurdle, right?
Tough hurdle. Yep.
So
first hurdle.
People are trying to differentiate between the two different candidates. Who do they want, to vote for? The people that generally watch this show are most of them, if not all, will be voting in the primary. So one of the questions that I've been asked to ask sheriff's candidates is, first off, what shift structure do you guys currently have? And the previous candidate kind of explained it, but you tell me shift structure that you currently have, and do you support that, or would you change it if you got elected?
Right. Well, I've worked several different shifts while at the sheriff's department. In the jail, they had a different shift than they did at the road. You work They had a day shift, an afternoon shift, a swing shift, which was 2 days, 2 afternoons, and then they had a permanent midnight shift, which I never was on the permanent midnight shift at all, but I did all 3 of the other shifts, which I was not a fan of. It was the swing shift. It's just weird, 2 days and 2 afternoons. But everything's been a 4 and 2 schedule while I've been on the street and in the jail, which I love.
Okay, so
every 4 days.
Okay.
What's that?
You like the 4 and 2 schedule?
I do. I
Okay.
really do. It's a 4 and 2 8-hour day,
Mhm.
6 to 2, 2 to 10, and 10 to 6.
Okay.
And when I started on the street, we rotated. So every month you were working a different shift. I was not a fan of that.
Mhm.
Not a fan, because when you did the afternoon switch to midnight, you were doing a double. And
Yeah.
that's just a lot of guys are tired, exhausted. They're not in that sleep schedule. They're not in that sleep mind. And it becomes a safety issue. You got a guy out there for 16 hours. I mean, we all can do it. We can all do a double, but when you prepare for it, it's better, obviously. But I was not a fan of that. But that too is a 4 and 2 schedule where you're on 4, you're off 2. And your days off rotate every month or every week. Actually, your days off float backwards. Like today's my Monday. So today's actually Wednesday, but it's my Monday because it's my first day of work. I work today 6 to 2.
Okay.
So it takes some getting used to and some scheduling, but we do have a benefit of quite a few vacation days that you can use, and the floating holidays, because most of us work the holiday.
Right.
So we get to use it throughout the year whenever we need to. It's a floating holiday, which makes it nice. This year I think there was 13 holidays that you get to add to your vacation list. And me being on the department for 21 years, I got there goes my daughter. You can see her leaving. But I had 29 vacation days this year. We top out at 30 vacation days, which is a huge benefit we have at the sheriff's department. We get a lot of time off. That's one of the benefits for sure that I love. But no, I would not switch shifts at all. There's been talk, in the past of a 12-hour shift, or you work, I don't even know how it works, but every other weekend, basically, they sell it. The guys that want it and sell it, you get every other weekend off.
Right,
I haven't had a normal schedule like that for 20 years. So weekends, my family adjusts, I'm off by 2:00 because I'm a permanent day shift guy right now. And we just adjust, Saturday is just another day for us. But a lot of guys like the weekends because there are other family members that only have Saturdays and Sundays off. So they like to have that shift. But you talk to some guys that are on the 12-hour shift, they love it. Every other weekend they have off, every other weekend they have a 3-day weekend, whatever. But I'm a fan of the 4 and 2. 4 and 2 8-hour day is a good shift. You get enough in that 8 hours and you're not extremely exhausted when you get off. You can still choose to work some extra pullover or DUI afterwards, and you're not exhausted. If you do a 12-hour shift, you're making 4 hours overtime, and you can do good things in an 8-hour shift too. So I wouldn't change it at all. I love it.
So if you're pretty happy with the shift schedule, let me ask you this directly. Assuming you got elected sheriff, what would you change about the current department?
What would I change about the current department? Well, there's not a huge amount of change. I think, for the most part, the sheriff's department works very efficiently. The guys work well. Morale, gets down quite a bit over time, and it seems to be an ongoing thing. It's not just a now thing. It's been a past thing. Our morale goes up, our morale goes down. We got some traditions, which I am a fan of traditions, but there's some traditions of the sheriff's department that I would change. Right now, one of the biggest traditions we have is short sleeve and long sleeve shirts. Like today, it's mandatory April 15th that we have to wear a short sleeve shirt. And then come, I think, October, it was very cold today. Yeah. It was snowing Saturday, and we had, the tradition is, and the order is that we have to wear a long sleeve shirt or a short sleeve shirt in that cold. And I don't see the reason behind that. All of us are prepared, and we have smartphones. We know when we're hot and cold. So that's one of the small things. Okay. Modern day police department. I'm an eyeglass wearer. Yeah. You ever tried directing traffic when it's pouring rain or snowing? Right. Wearing eyeglasses, you can't see. We don't have ball caps. You know, I don't see a reason why we can't wear some ball caps. It keeps the sun out of your eyes. It keeps the weather out of your eyes. It keeps the snow and sleet off my glasses.
The trooper style hats that the ISP.
We do have those. We do have those for our Class A uniforms. However, those things are expensive too. And you put those. I mean, they had the little plastic cover over the top of them. Yeah, but I mean, those things are expensive, and you got them out in the weather, and they're not tactical. They're not convenient. They don't sit on. I mean, they sit on your head. They're a good look for the Class A. You know, they make you look professional and uniform. Yeah, but we're currently wearing Class B uniforms, which is, you know, a BDU style pant, a tactical looking pant with extra pockets for our gear, and now all of us are switching over to an outer vest carrier, which is our bulletproof vest on the outside of our uniform, which is a huge turnaround for us. Before they were all inner vests, and my experience, you know, I have a lot of experience with canine, and in the summer in 90-degree weather, you're tracking 2-3 miles with a dog through the woods. You get very hot. You get very hot, and it's not convenient to take your whole uniform off just to kind of cool down. That thing would just trap the heat, and you could overheat quite quickly. So Sheriff Boyd's allowed us to get the outer carriers. Oh, my tape fell. Look at there. Let's
there, yeah, just move the camera. There you go.
There we go. Now you know my secret to my tape. Good old Gorilla tape don't work as good as it should.
Right? What is
I know, right? Maybe they need to call it Deputy Greer tape, and it'd be strong enough to hold it. But no, Sheriff Boyd has allowed us to switch over to outer carriers, which has been huge. It's getting a lot of our equipment off our belts, getting it on our shoulders, you know, and in those hot days, we can take that thing off when we're done on our scene and cool off a lot quicker. Right. They're just much more convenient, more comfortable. Just a great invention for police officers, and military wear them too. Obviously, it probably started there.
Yeah. So
it's just awesome.
If you got elected, that's one of the things that people could expect as change to the department. Are there any other big things that you would say, okay, this needs to change?
Well, yeah, I'm a big fan. We had a meeting not too long ago with the FOP. The Sheriff's Department is currently not represented by the FOP.
Okay.
We have a lot of guys and gals that are members of the FOP, but the FOP doesn't come in and negotiate wages for us or contracts or any of that nature, or help us in, you know, disciplinary situations or anything like that. If you're a member of the Legal Defense Fund, they'll help you, you know, should you get into some legal fund or legal issues. They have a team of attorneys that you basically, it's an attorney investment or insurance investment. So, but we had a meeting, I think it's been 2 months ago now, the 5 candidates, some councilmen, commissioners, the sheriff, and some union members. The carpenters union, the electrical union was there. I believe the electrical union was there. A representative from the iron workers sent a letter in. And then we had legal defense, Leo Blackwell from the FOP, and I forget her name, but she was from the Labor Council for the FOP, talking the benefits of having a contract. You know, there's not a lot of sheriff's offices that have the contract. There's 2 for sure, but I believe they told us in that meeting there's actually 4, if not more, that have some sort of contract within their walls. And it just, the way they spoke about it, and I grew up in a union family. You know, my dad's a longtime retired member of the IBW, and my brothers, I got 2 brothers in the IBW, and lots and lots of friends that work in the iron workers, the electrical union, the steel workers. I mean, just tons of good friends, and they're doing well. They're really doing well, you know, and the contract helps them out. And I think getting the contract in the Sheriff's Department just make us even shine more. You know, we have to stand out. We have to be attractive.
So,
you know,
let me ask you this: as playing devil's advocate, that's one thing that I do on the show. I may 100% agree with what you're saying, but I want to present the other side. There are people that have brought the concern that if we start involving the FOP in sheriff's contracts, what happens when you guys, deputies, aren't happy with the things happening? Are we looking at a strike situation?
Never. That is not in the FOP. We will always get out of our car. We will always come to a scene. We will always get out of a car. And they even said that in that meeting. There's no such thing, with the FOP striking like you would see in normal labor issues where the guys just walk off the job. We can't do that. We have public safety to worry about first and foremost. We have to put them first. And but things will work out. You can negotiate, and it gives the men and women of the sheriff's department the voice to negotiate what they get. And we're not looking to get rich. We didn't get in this job to get rich, but we need competitive wages, and we want to protect what we have. We have some good benefits at the sheriff's department, but at any given time, what's to say a council or a commission can't come in there and change a bunch of things, and take some of those vacation days away and such like that. But it would protect what we have, and it would eliminate a lot of hassle between the sheriff and the council. He goes in there all the time, asking for raises, and it would alleviate that out of the situation, giving more time, giving the council more time to do other things. If we had a 3-year contract, they could worry about other things in those 3 years. They know how much money they're going to need in 3 years to support the sheriff's department. All right. And it gives a voice to the men and women. Like I said, we're not looking to get rich, but we definitely have to do something to make us shine, and it would help in recruitment and retainment. Guys wanting to retire, he's going to see a contract time's coming up, and maybe he doesn't like what he sees in the contract. He's not going to get enough, not going to benefit him, and he can retire. Or maybe it will, and he'll stick on for another 3 years, and we didn't lose all that knowledge in a guy that's on the fence of retiring. We want to retain our great employees that we have.
Absolutely.
So,
I've talked to sheriffs from other counties, and people running for sheriff in nearby counties that confirm what we've already been told, and that is that people are leaving. They're leaving the LaPorte County area, and they're going to other counties because they pay more over the long run. A lot of times people start right around the same, but I think you mentioned on the radio that you're barely making more than a starting officer, despite the fact that you've been at the department for a very long time comparatively, right?
With my figure, I'll make roughly $61,000 this year. Roughly, with the generous 6% that the council gave us. But with inflation, as you know, the number I heard lately is 8.5%. So, and for 20 years, I've got a spreadsheet here. For 20 years, we haven't even been coming close to the inflation at the sheriff's department, and that's what's drawn us back. When I first started, guys were coming from other departments to the sheriff's department because of the benefits, the work. It was a great place to be, and I love the sheriff's. One of the biggest reasons I love the sheriff's department, there's really no fences. You're not stuck in a city. I'm a country boy. I've grown up in the country, the back roads, the dirt roads, the gravel roads. That's where I like to be. And, and it doesn't prevent us from coming in the city to help. But when I started, people were coming to the sheriff's department. Now they're starting to leave. Guys like Bobby Greer. This may surprise you, but Bobby Greer is talking about leaving. A guy like that. Yeah, no, he may not, but Bobby Greer's a cop.
I get it.
Pay. Yeah, but he's got to look out for his family, and
you have to.
We hate to lose guys like that, but we just lost John Berger. John Berger was a great man, and he left to go to the private world of the Carpenters Union.
Yeah.
So we have to become attractive, and no one, and I'm sure you're going to ask about this lit. Coming up. I'm sure that's in your list, and I don't want to mess your roll up. But,
no, by all means, talk about the lit tax, because a lot of people, especially lately, right? So we had the vote that was put off a little bit. It's going to be coming back around here in just a few days,
right?
But a lot of people seem to believe that the lit tax, it's the government not able to balance the books, basically. So they're coming to us asking for more money. But at the same time, what I think people need to realize is LaPorte County has not paid their officers. You guys haven't had a raise in a very long time.
A significant one, yeah. For years, we just get a bonus. They call it a bonus. You get $1,000 extra for the year. And that wasn't just the sheriff's office. In my opinion, we need to separate ourselves from the rest of the county employees. And Sheriff Boyd said it best. We're not better than anybody, but we're different. We have a different need. And you could probably find, my fiance and her daughter, they've applied to the the jobs, the clerk jobs, and the internal jobs of the county, and they've been passed up numerous times. It's not like they don't have plenty of applicants for those jobs.
Yeah.
We have 3 openings right now. We got 5 interviews.
Wow.
You know, so we're not having people bust down our door to look for these jobs. So my opinion is we need to
jump in here real quick, because
Yeah.
this is a direct quote. I actually spoke to one of the individuals running for Porter County Sheriff, and he said they have hundreds of applications for each open spot there. Hundreds.
Was this Valen by chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting him. He's actually the chief of Valparaiso Police.
Yep.
I just spoke with him at a roundtable event over at Nick Popovich's hangar for Blair Milo. She sat down with us at a roundtable with a few chiefs, chief of Munster and then chief of Hammond, I believe.
Okay.
Anyway, we sat down and spoke with her, and this is not a LaPorte County problem. This is a pandemic nationwide. But I was also fortunate enough to speak to Chief Ballin over there, and he said, you know, he's blessed. He said his council is doing amazing for him. Yeah. They come to him to see what he needs, and you know, I believe the number was they gave him 4 officers, gave him raises. They have other they have other incentives that they pay over there, and those are some ideas that I'd like to bring here too. You know, they have money incentives if a guy has a bachelor's degree, if they have a master's degree, if they're military, you know, if they join K-9, if they join, they have different incentives.
Right.
Yeah. And he even said, well, someone asked him, why do you want to run for the sheriff's office if you have it like this so good at the Valparaiso? And he's like, well, I want to bring it to others too, you know, you know, and make a difference bigger. Mm-hmm. So really good guy. Got the fortunate to speak with him over there, and
I'm hoping that he gets the opportunity. He's unopposed in the primary, so focusing on those candidates that are opposed in the primary, you know, prior to the primary. But after that, I'm hoping he'll have time to come onto the show, and we can find out from him, pick his brain a little bit, and how we can implement the things that are working for him here in LaPorte County, because he did say, you know, pay is part of it. It's a big,
it's huge,
but it's not the only part. There are other things.
You got to have a good work environment. You got to have guys wanting to, you know, they'll sacrifice that pay a little bit if they enjoy what they do and enjoy the environment they are in.
Right.
They won't leave. They'll be like, yeah, man, these guys over here are awesome to work for. I know they got my back.
Right.
You know, and I know I've got a higher chance of going home every day over here, you know, and a lot of people will stay for a little bit lower pay, but we have to at least be competitive, at least get close. Not, you know, I'd love to be the leader. Absolutely would love to be the leader to make people want to come to us. But ultimately, we just need to be competitive to make people come here because of all our other attributes that we can offer, you know, the good work environment, the safe, you know, we still have crime here, but we have lower crime than, you know, say Gary Police Department or the region over there. You know, they're really close to Chicago, so they're seeing a lot of those things, and we get it too. But ultimately, LaPorte County is a, you know, great safe place to live and work. You know, from day to day, you can work as busy as you want in Area 1, which we call it, which is the Michigan City area, more diverse area. More populated, or you can go south of 30 and be in the cornfields with those great people down there. You know, the farmers and the Wanata and Hannah and La Crosse. You know, so there's a lot to offer here for sure.
There is. I agree. Okay, so let me ask you this: assuming you win, you're sheriff now. How do you plan to use modern technology to improve the department?
Well, we got a lot of modern technology now, and clearly I'm not great with it because my flag's falling down. But
that's modern technology, and that's more handyman.
Well, they got to make Gorilla Tape more Gorilla.
Right.
But no, I mean, it's a changing world from when I started.
Yeah.
I Velcroed a notepad to my we had laptops back then, but they weren't internet connected. They just were laptops where you could do a report on and take them inside and hook them up and print.
Right.
You know, and today's date, I can run a driver's license right in my car. I can find warrants right in my car, and send reports to across the country from my car. So modern technology is huge, and we got two great guys in our IT department with Roscoe and Ryan in there. The things they do for us is just crazy. I mean, our cars are Wi-Fi this and technology that, and mine break, and I immediately call them because I am not computer savvy, but we need it. We absolutely need it. Modern technology is huge. I'm sure you've heard of, you know, these license plate readers and you know, satellites and drones, and we have a lot of that stuff, and it's amazing. The technology from 2003 to 2022 is awesome. It's awesome. And our cars are better, safer. I'm not a Ford fan, but you know, I drive a Ford and it gets me to and from, and I've had a Ford 2 years now, more than 2 years, because my first canine car was a Ford. But
I got a question for you. Okay, this one's not on the list, but I'm actually curious. So would you push for a different vehicle? Like, would you prefer to have Chargers? Would you, you know, because I see a lot of the Chargers out there, guys seem to like those. Would you like the Crown Vic, like the SUV?
Well, with talking with our garage guys, I would talk with them. You know, they're the ones that work on these cars, you know, make their job easier. But also there's guys, one of the candidates, Andy Heineck, he's a EVOC instructor. He knows cars. He knows the lingo. He's in that world of what the new up and coming safe car for us is, the practical vehicle for us. You know, we switched over from front wheel drive Impalas to all wheel drive Ford Explorers and Chargers, and we need that around here. You know, the summer months are great for those front wheel drive Impalas. My Impala did all right. They put snow tires on them, but that's a huge expense too to outfit 60 plus cars with snow tires. It's a huge expense. But we got these all-wheel drive vehicles now, and they get us through the snow. They get us through the fields chasing the bad guys, and it's definitely something I would reach out to the guys that have the knowledge and are in the know, just like our weapons and modern technology. You know, our IT department is hip on all that. You know, I'm not a follower of all those things, so I would reach out to the guys that actually are into it and know what the new best product is out there.
Use your resources.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not an I guy. I'm not. I'm going to depend on a team, and the team is going to make us shine for sure.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What's one piece, let's see, let me get it right. What's one piece of equipment that you would like to see your county department have?
The one thing? Yeah, I can name it right now.
Okay.
A rifle rack in my vehicle. So my rifle is more accessible, safer.
Rack in there?
No, sir. No, sir. Okay. We take them in and out every night, and we have no rifle rack. So during our patrol shift, it's close, but more accessible. You know, in case something happened like that, that would be a huge plus to our vehicles.
Okay.
Is having a secure rifle rack. You know, our cars don't have cages in them. You know, we park on a scene. We can't carry everything with us.
Right.
You know, so just makes things safer, secure. And I don't really think they're that too expensive, you know, so maybe with this lit, we can actually buy some of that stuff. And I would reach out again. I would reach out to the men and women to see what they think they need. You know, it's not an I. It's not going to be an I thing. It's going to be a we thing. You know, and get input from the men and women that are actually out in the streets, boots on the ground, from our jail. Another of the jail candidate.
Yeah. So once elected, the new sheriff is going to have to deal with the fact that we have an old jail. It's been around for a long time. We're going to need a new jail, whether it's during their first, second term. It's something that we have to start thinking about as a county. We have to start figuring out the finances for it, and we have to get a new jail. What are some of the things that you would want the new jail to positively have?
Well, for me, again, reaching back to my canine days and going into the jail quite a bit and searching those jails, it needs to be one floor, one level, no stairwells. I mean, to me, that just doesn't provide a safe environment for those men and women that are unfortunately locked up in our jail. Our dogs hated it because it was the iron grate. We'd actually have to go get boxes and lay it down so the dog's toes wouldn't go through it. And, especially Jaeger. I mean, Argo, that dog will go through a wall. But Jaeger, he did not like going up on those staircases. But, one level facility, the modern technology, reach out and get the companies out there that are doing modern buildings and modern security to assist our jailers make their jobs easier. And I haven't worked in the jail since 2003, which was when the renovation was starting. Right. I came back and I worked post command in a little cubby hole while the jail was being renovated. But from what I see, I mean, we can make it more convenient for our deputies inside the jail for working purposes, security, more cameras. Obviously, it's the day of the camera. The more cameras, the more eyes you have. And
so I don't want to cut you off, but I got to make sure. So you're telling me that if elected sheriff, you would make sure that if Jeffrey Epstein was in your jail, the cameras would be on all the time, right?
Correct.
I'm just kidding.
Correct. No, that's funny. Not funny, but
no, I get it.
No, unfortunately, those things do happen. Those things do happen in our facilities. You know that from working at DOC. Unfortunately, that happens, and we can't have eyes everywhere. But with modern technology, we can sure get them wherever we can. And they're needed and they're not cheap. Modern technology is not cheap. The upkeep is not cheap. The storage of data, we just went to body cameras on the street, and that's not a cheap. I don't know the numbers, but the storage is not cheap. Buying the product's not cheap. The upkeep on the cameras is not cheap. We have little remotes for our cameras now, and the batteries go dead quite often. So you're buying small little watch batteries, but that's all a cost. But what a huge life-saving, money-saving tool and investment is the body camera nowadays. I wasn't a fan at first. I wasn't a fan at first. It's like Big Brother's watching you. You got GPS on you, but it saves. It absolutely saves. And, guys can be out there doing the best job they can, and it just saves. The community doesn't see what you do. And for instance, in Michigan City, the recent event in Michigan City, that body camera came out and the whole different picture was posted.
If it was not a body camera, I fully believe that we would have had, if not a riot, certainly a large demonstration in Michigan City. There were people who were getting the crowd fired up. We're not gonna talk about names. No. There were people who were inciting things, and from their understanding, I get it. From their understanding and what they looked at, they believed that some malfeasance happened, and luckily, the body camera footage was released, and it showed that everyone did their job. There was nothing untoward. And I personally was very grateful for the transparency. I was very grateful that the body camera existed and we were able to see. Had this been 10, 15 years ago, we'd have had a big problem here in Michigan City.
Yeah. Just the doubt, just a simple doubt could have caused a lot of things, and that body camera eliminated that doubt. And we have them now, and I'm a big fan of it. But if you're doing your job and doing it right, you got nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing. Go out there and do the right thing for the people, and treat people like that's my biggest thing. You treat people like you want to be treated. Treat them like a human being. I wouldn't want someone out there belittling me or talking down to me just because they wore a badge or because they're an electrician or any profession,
Right.
Treat me like a human being,
So do you think that it's important to have good relations with not just the towns in your district, but the surrounding ones, the districts around LaPorte County? Do you think that it's important to have good relations with them, and what can we do to improve it?
Absolutely. At any given time, we can have a department from Lake County over here in 15 minutes in a pursuit. Mm-hmm. So, or we have a situation where we need Lake County over here. And that's part of the District 1 task force. I've made a lot of connections through that. I have a lot of phone numbers I can contact the pilots of Eagle One, and see if they're out flying. I can't make that call as a deputy. That would be a supervisor call. But we definitely need to keep communications. Berrien County, Michigan, they chase people to our county all the time. So, it's not just a LaPorte thing. It's not a LaPorte City, Michigan City, Westville, Indiana. It's in Illinois, Michigan, Ohio. I can't fathom a Kentucky would make it in a pursuit up here, but they could have an escapee, with modern technology, emails. Them people could, a criminal could come up from Kentucky and be here within 4 hours. So, so we definitely have to keep communication open everywhere, and keep America safe.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. We're getting a little short on time, but there are a couple of questions I want to make sure that you have a chance to answer. First off, because it's important to me, I've had people reach out to me to make sure to ask this question. So it's taken on a life of its own lately, but there are these vehicles out there called ghost lettering vehicles, the ones that you only can tell it's a police car from a certain angle. Otherwise, it looks like a regular car. What's your take on those? Do you plan on utilizing those for the sheriff's department if elected, or is that kind of I'm not a fan?
I mean, I'm a fan of them. They look cool, but it's no different. It's no different than an unmarked police car. Police these days are using pickup trucks, Mustangs, Camaros. You never know who could be a police officer, and that's a good thing from a police officer's point of view. Is drive right, do right, and you don't have to worry about it. Everybody speeds. But less people speed in a fully marked police car sitting in your neighborhood. So a police car is a great billboard, but then as soon as you leave, they're speeding again. Right. So if you got an unmarked car in a neighborhood that has a problem with speeders or crime, you can get those vehicles to camouflage themselves in there to help keep the neighborhood safe. Okay. So they're definitely a good tool, and I would be 100% for getting a few more unmarked police cars out there to patrol these neighborhoods to keep people doing right. It's not, I don't think it's entrapment. I mean, follow the speed limit. Right. Don't be a burglar.
Well, yeah, that's true. Let me ask you this. Is it frustrating as a police officer for people to go super slow in front of you when you're trying to get somewhere and that they're obeying the speed limit, but they're ridiculous about it? Like the speed limit's 35 and they're doing 15.
Yeah. That same person would be 55 if you weren't behind them. I call it the oh crap cop disease, we're two hands on the wheel, we're putting our phone down. Which they're doing what's supposed to be done. But there's times that, we might necessarily we get a call where it doesn't necessarily require lights and sirens, but we got to get there. Our guy says he's okay, but, he's dealing with a drunk or intoxicated subject that just the hairs on your neck standing up, and the comfort of knowing that guy's there. He doesn't necessarily need a police officer back up there right now, but the quicker we can get there, the quicker there's two of us there or three of us there, because LaPorte County's huge. My backup could be 25 minutes away. We need more guys on the street, honestly. That we've been working shorthanded for a while now, and this next coming month, they just learned, we're going to be having 5 cars on our street. 5 cars to get from New Carlisle to what's that?
In the whole county, 5 cars?
5 cars.
Wow.
5 cars. Yeah, it's not very safe. Not very safe at all. But with training and time off and lack of manpower, we have 5 cars. So you could be in a call at La Crosse, and your backup's in LaPorte dropping off we call J3 a prisoner.
Yep, J3.
you're down in La Crosse for 20-25 minutes before you have someone there to back you up. Right. And that's where I pride myself, is I know a lot of people down south. I know a lot of people everywhere, and I befriend them and I have them in my phone, and I'm not too proud. I'll call them and let them know, hey, my backup's not far away. Can you listen to the radio in case I need you, And the firemen are awesome guys to have, they can't obviously do police work, but they're on the scene with you. We always ask, you guys good? We're good. We're a team. We're an absolute team, and we need that. And again, we need good relationships with Stark County, with Porter County, St. Joe County. So we need to have those relationships to put more guys on the street for sure. But yeah, so our county is huge. It's the second largest in Indiana land wise.
A lot of people don't know that LaPorte County is as big as it is. They're not aware of the sheer size involved, and we have such a low population comparatively that it's vast open areas, and these officers, these deputies have to travel these vast distances by themselves.
Right, and that's why people say, "Hey, that cop was speeding. He was going too fast. He didn't have lights or sirens on." But we have to get places relatively quickly. I mean, if you call for any kind of report, it's not necessarily an emergency, but people want you there. They want you there when they call. They don't want to wait 20, 25 minutes, but it could technically take us 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Going the speed limit, stopping at every stop sign, looking both ways. You got to do those things, but coming to it, so there's sometimes that, we have to follow the traffic laws. We do, but we also have to get there, and it's all about safety.
I would hate for someone that I know or someone that I love to have been involved in something that could have been prevented if the officer had gotten there just a couple minutes earlier.
Right. Yeah, it's imperative in some cases. We got to get there. We just got to get there. A fire call necessary. I mean, everybody's out of the house, but you want to try to help save that house too. So you got to get there. Lights and sirens obviously would warrant that, but yeah, it's a big county. It's a big county.
Audience members, if you guys are watching and you have a specific question that you want asked, this is the last call because we're almost out of time here. But there are a couple questions that I want to make sure that you get to answer because I think they're important. First of all, let's talk about this law that passed, the constitutional carry law that is about to go into effect. Is it June 1st or July 1st?
July 1st, I believe. That's usually when the new laws go.
First of all, anyone who's watching who's not familiar with it, it does not allow anyone to buy a firearm. What it changes is you no longer need to go through the permit process in order to carry the gun that you already own. I said the G word. I'm probably going to get banned off of Facebook. No, seriously, I wish I was kidding. It's been happening.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, so how does that, I know you have said before, you're very pro 2A. I appreciate that. But how does it make an officer's job more difficult when there is no permit process anymore?
Well, like you said, I'm very pro 2A. I'm an avid hunter, avid shooter, get out there as much as I can. I'm not completely knowledgeable in all the weaponry. That would be our Keith Waltz on our department. That guy is straight tackleberry. But yeah, it's gonna change the way we do our job for sure. But we as police officers are gonna overcome, adapt, and conquer it. It was a tool. For lack of better terms, it was a tool. We were able to get bad people, illegal guns off the street easier. But we're gonna be able to do it. We'll figure it out. And I hope the 2A law, this constitutional carry, does evolve with time. Like now they put the permits on a driver's license. So when we run a driver's license, we can tell if you have a permit or not, which helps us determine whether you can have a gun or not. Hopefully they change that, flip that in reverse. If you're convicted of a felony or deemed not legal to carry a firearm, a constitutional carry, they will give that opportunity for us when we run you to help us quicken our stops, our investigations, things of that nature. Give us that tool back so we know immediately, oh, John Doe, he's a convicted felon. He's ixnayed from that. So
about that, I find it very weird because the other person running in the Republican race for sheriff mentioned that you have to use a specific call, criminal call, basically to find out if this person has felony convictions, etc., if they're a prohibited user. Now, to me, that's weird because anyone, you, me, anyone can go on to Odyssey Case Management and look up someone's criminal history. It's not privileged information. It's public record. Right. I don't see why we couldn't start a law that flagged a license as felon.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that going into Odyssey, you most certainly can.
Anyone
but you're on the side of a highway trying to watch 4 people
I'm not
in a
saying
car.
you should do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is it's not like I need a warrant to be able to look up someone's criminal history. So why shouldn't your guys have the information that's accessible to anyone in a much faster, easier form?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's hope it'll evolve to that. And
Yeah.
this is all obviously the constitutional carries a wave across the country. What are we, the 25th, 26th state doing it?
Yeah, I think we're the 26th. I want to say 26th.
Something like that. I mean, over half if we're 26, if my math's right.
Yeah,
Roger. That's Roger's math.
Right.
But yeah, it's going to hinder our jobs a little bit by not being able to get bad people with bad intentions off the street with these weapons.
Right.
You know, we just had a pursuit the other day with some guys, and they both had firearms, extended magazines, and everything. Didn't have permits, so come July 1st, they wouldn't get any criminal charges for that.
Right.
These guys did. So I mean, it does help to put bad guys away for sure, and get these stolen weapons off the streets. You know, and we live so close to Chicago. There's no fence. That heavy crime and those heavy shootings are coming our way.
They are,
and it's sad. It's absolutely sad, and it's bad people with bad intentions. It's not the good people with good intentions. It's the bad people with bad intentions.
Absolutely.
So a responsible gun owner is, you know, I've had a weapon since I was 18. You know, I've carried a firearm, you know, on my side since I was 18. Now I carry one for work. My weapons have never hurt anybody. Never.
Right. Exactly.
You know, proper training, you know, accuracy, and knowing what you're doing. I mean, that's a heavy decision to make, you know, to be able to squeeze that trigger. You have to know, and that's what I pride myself on with my kids from when they were little, you know, from a BB gun to even Nerf guns, you know, teaching them safety. Don't point that at somebody.
Right.
You know, whatever you're pointing that at, it better intend to hurt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and my kids are avid hunters, and they're safe, and it's scary putting them out in the woods by themselves. But I know the training I've given them.
Right.
You know, and proper training, and I have no worries with my boys and girls. They're definitely safe. My
last question for you, unless an audience member pops up here real quick. Okay, so there's no shortage of bills that are trying to be passed infringe upon the Second Amendment at the federal level, especially. We see lots of them. I could list 5 of them right now, but the point is there's no shortage of them. There was the Brady Act, back in the day. There's a good chance that the federal government is going to attempt to outlaw certain types or models of firearms. For example, so-called assault rifles, and demand that they be seized, the big scary rifles, be seized. If that's the case, if the federal government passes something like that, and you are sheriff, are you going to go door to door and seize firearms if instructed?
We can't physically do that. That's just going to be impossible. And the Second Amendment, I mean, it's the Second Amendment. The federal government is, like you said, there's millions of bills out there, and the big scary ARs, I have them.
Yeah.
They don't hurt people.
No.
They're the bad people with bad intentions that are going to keep hurting people, whether it's with an AR or a knife or a blowgun or, a car. Look how many people perished 9/11 with an airplane.
Yeah.
You're
absolutely right.
We have to get education, and we got to start seeing people for people. Just because I wear different color shoestring than you're getting shot at. It does not make sense to me. That's not the world I grew up in. And I want everybody to protect everybody. Mm-hmm. So no, not gonna happen. Do I think maybe that our forefathers in 1776, if you fast forward them to 2022, would have drawn up the Second Amendment the same way? Maybe not. They didn't have Glocks with 100-round drum magazines or Tommy guns. They had flintlocks and muzzle loaders.
They did have the Gatling gun, though. They had.
Well, they did.
They had cannons. Everybody could have cannons.
Yeah. thankfully no one's carrying a can of these days.
Yeah. We could talk for hours, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Stuff like that in general. But it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. Tell people where they can go to learn more about you, to donate to your campaign, or to help, or if they want to have a yard sign, etc.
Yeah.
Can they find out?
Yeah, we're getting really low on yard signs, and I just got another load of them from Reprographic Arts. I'll throw them a plug here because they did me good this election. They printed some beautiful signs. Just like
they're nice.
Just like the flag there. Red, white, and blue all the way.
Mm-hmm.
But Facebook is a good place. Andrew Morse for LaPorte County Sheriff. I have a page, my personal page, Andrew J. Morse. I don't have a website. We're currently good on campaign funds. We have a little bit of surplus to buy some radio ads here at the end of the run. I've just got a few more donations. There you go. Should we be lucky enough to win the primary, we're going to have some fundraisers. We're going to need to have some fundraisers and get out there. We'll take a little pause because running, it's busy, pancakes and all the events that you go to. It's a lot of work, but we're having a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely Facebook. I'm reachable, or they can call my cell phone, 219-608-9620. Don't call me at 2 a.m. I'll most definitely answer because I'll think someone needs something important. But yeah, I'm accessible. I live here in the town, just north of town. I got all my flags flying out in front of the house. No secret where I live. So, but yeah, I'm super accessible. Get a hold of Bobby Greer. He knows how to get a hold of me.
Right.
He seems to know everybody.
He really does, man. He really does. Man, I'm so sad though. Like, you made me sad when you mentioned that Bobby's thinking about leaving. It's not a for sure thing, but he's definitely pursuing it. And not just him. There's other guys on the department that are, I'm sure, going to pursue. Let me ask you this: if we can get the lit tax or something like it done and make sure that pay goes up at least close to the surrounding areas, do you think that might make a difference?
It will definitely make a difference. Okay. It definitely will make a difference. Like I said on my on Sound Off last year, I made $58,000 20 years in. Guys around here are making 70. They're $10,000 to $15,000 more. It means a lot, because right now, like you said, I'm a part-time school resource officer. That helps pay the bills, but I'd like to have a day off too, but every day off I got, I work out there at the school and I love it. 44 years old, going back to middle school, it's eye-opening, but it helps pay the bills. Guys are working, regular shift, going to work, pullover, seatbelt, pullover, DUI. We have lake patrol going now. We got an awesome brand new boat, and Captain Smythe is taking that and running with that and looking to get a second boat. So yeah. But yeah, I think the lit tax is going to help. Unfortunately, it's another tax, but I've heard it is an investment into your community, and hopefully the council will use it properly and conservatively. Hopefully from here on out, this council is for it. Will the next council be for it? And again, that'll help with our contract too. If we have our contract and we get a council that just is not pro-police, we got that contract protecting our wages instead of here's $1,000.
Right.
$1,000 is not going to keep anybody around. The ARP bonus, $1,000 didn't keep it. We lost a couple guys during that. And I'm sure a lot of places did.
What was funny to me, just kind of to wrap up, I absolutely hope that if this does pass, the council uses it properly. But one of the things that I heard was the first responders, when they came before the council talking about the money and this ARP funds and stuff, there was a particular member of the council who called these people ungrateful because they didn't want to they didn't want to wait for years to get this money that had been promised to them before, when they didn't have raises for a long time. Like, the gall of these people that are spending our money. This is our money. It's not their money. It's not, in their pocket. It'd be one thing if you came to me and you said, hey man, let me have $1,000. And I went, I'll give you 800. And you went, that's not enough. And I went, it's a little ungrateful. That makes sense. But in this circumstance, like the sheer gall and no names, but
right. I agree.
Oh, there goes your flag. I guess that's a sign. All right.
There. Now you can see out my windows there.
But seriously, it was.
Yeah, I agree. The first responders in this community are not ungrateful. They are hardworking.
Yes, they are. They
men
are not
and women.
They are.
They
lost their butt for this county day in and day out.
The EMS workers. If you just listen to a radio, those guys run 24-hour shifts. God bless them. And during COVID, come on. I mean, no one knew what that was about, and those people didn't hesitate. They went in and they saved lives.
Yeah.
They're not ungrateful. They just, they need to live too, though, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And these people have been working while not everybody, but a lot of the population was able to shelter at home and work from home and do the things that they needed to do to take care of their family, a small portion collecting unemployment or whatever. These people went to work every single day, every single night. Like you said, 24-hour shifts. Oh my goodness, man. I would lose my mind, especially beginning of this. We had no idea what this was, how bad it was. And these people showed up every time.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't say no. We go.
Right.
We just go, and we go into some bad situations. And if you listen to any bit of the media at that time, it was scary. You didn't know.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not like you can see COVID, like a bad guy with a gun. You can see that. You're going into a scene. You have no clue.
Yeah.
No clue. Your only intention was to make sure that person lived.
Mm-hmm.
They're not ungrateful. They are not ungrateful people. Not at all. I know a lot of the EMS workers, and they are good-hearted people. Love this community, love their work.
Yeah.
Let's get them up to where they need to be so they can live comfortably when they're home and off.
Right. I agree. I think no matter how we do it, we need to make sure that and like said before, it's an absolute investment. I am not sure that I agree 100% with the way that the lit tax is structured.
I would agree.
I don't vote on that. That's the council's job. What I will say that I am 100% in favor of is paying our first responders a livable, comparable wage to the counties around us, the areas around us, so that we can retain the talent that we need to make LaPorte County the envy of the state.
And while I got you, I noticed Amy Weaver got on there, and she's a 911 dispatcher.
See?
Unsung heroes. Yeah.
Let me put her back up.
You don't see them. There she is.
Thank you for everything you do. And
one of the best dispatchers. She keeps us safe, and they need to be rewarded too. They bust their butts in that dispatch center, and they never get closure. They hear the bad on the radio, and they do what they have to do to make sure we get home safe too. So kudos to 911 for sure.
That is a huge, very stressful job. That you sit there, the dispatchers, they answer the phone, they get the calls, and like you said, they don't get closure. They don't know what happens. Like Liz and I had talked about that before, because there was a job opening, and I was like, do you want to go do that? And she's like, there's no way that I can handle. She's very nosy. I love her, but she's very nosy. She's like, there's no way I could handle not knowing what happens. Like I would spend the rest of my shift calling people, hey, what happened with the boy?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, very underpaid for what they do. They just sit in a chair and answer a call.
No, there's way more to it.
Those men and women are protecting and saving lives just like us. They get us to where we're going, and they need some help too, definitely, because they're working multiple hours, getting forced overtime because of lack of manpower. Yeah, they're tired. They want to get home to their families too, and they definitely need.
At the beginning of when stuff happened, they were always showing up anyway. They're the unsung heroes, the ones that, behind the scenes were getting things
unseen. Yeah, unseen heroes.
And when this all went down and we didn't know what was going on, they still came to work. They still showed up. They still, manned those phones and those radios to make sure that you guys were able to have the information that you needed to be safe and get your job done.
Absolutely. Without them, we're running driver's license. If they make a mistake, that could hurt us. If they miss reading something, they're overworked, underpaid, tired, they miss something, it could hurt us. So they got to be on top of their game. And if they're overworked, they can't do that. They're exhausted. Let's reward them just the same, for sure.
Well, I'm gonna plug Red Wine and Brew one more time.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Friday, July 1st in LaPorte. You can get tickets right now. Go to redwineandbrewlaporte.com. Here, let me copy this. I don't know why it's not working.
Yeah, and it's family friendly. Bring the kids, man.
Ooh, okay.
Bobby will be out there with the rest of the guys with their dogs and doing demonstrations.
Is he gonna be chucking cars?
He probably push them out of the mud if it rains.
Right.
But no, most of us volunteer out there, and it's been a safe place to just come enjoy some great country music. There is some wine tasting, and look at that. How beautiful.
Oh,
that's at the summit. That was last year. I got engaged on that stage.
Did you really?
There. I did. Liz and I got engaged.
That's
I always told her never would I get married, and we got her. Pastor Dennis and Carrie helped me surprise her. And
I'm always the designated driver, so that's me.
Yeah,
right there. Awesome. Okay, and then there.
Yep.
Oh, look
there's
at
heroes tickets.
Yep, look at that. First responder, military, and healthcare. That's $10 hero ticket, and then $50 general admission. No tastings. Bring your own chair behind the premiere. $100 gets you into the premiere. That's 4 p.m. tasting entry and all ages table seating behind the VIP. And for $250, you get 3 p.m. tasting VIP, 21 area table seating with sponsors. So I hope. Here, let me zoom in there. There you go.
No one had a bad time at that, and the event's been going since I believe 2016. They've been putting this on, and Carrie Garwood, if you need a fundraiser, that lady is crazy at fundraising and setting this stuff up, and she and Dennis and the whole Bethany community and every volunteer that volunteers with that, it's a great thing to be brought to LaPorte County for sure, and especially if you like country music.
All the Grays have already been booked.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that awesome?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to attend this, because these are going quick, look, the VIP tables are almost all gone.
Yeah. Yep.
So
it sells out. It was a huge crowd last year. We had great weather for it. Great country music last year. Montgomery Gentry was there. Those guys were amazing. Dylan Carmichael. I mean, it's a great event, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It started at the Civic. It went to the beach, which the beach one was cool, but we had to get more parking and bigger venue. And family was gracious enough to build this venue and plant the grass, and people came. It was awesome.
I just want to highlight this right here. 100% of proceeds benefit local first responders.
Yep. They don't keep a dime.
Yeah. What other venue or entertainment option can you do where 100% goes to the local first responders? Like that's crazy.
It's awesome. It's awesome what those two came up with, and whoever else is on their team. They came up with this years ago, and we've benefited tremendously. They donate to LaPorte, anybody that helps. LaPorte City, Michigan City, Cool Spring Fire Department, Scipio Fire Department, EMS.
That's awesome.
It's a great thing for LaPorte County for sure, and it's around the 4th of July. So
nice.
Come out and enjoy the lights and fireworks, and it's a good time. Thanks for the plug.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always looking for good causes to support, and most of the viewers of my show were the same way. They want to help you guys. They're just not sure. This is how to do so. This is a great way to support your first responders and to make sure that they have what they need.
Yeah, and if I could throw a plug out for Lifelines for Canines too, our new 501c3, and it's going to go. It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook. Let me see if
on Facebook. And if you find that's my boy Yeager's face. So
okay, hold on. Let me get My computer's wanting to be slow now. Come on. Don't do me like this. You're making me look bad. Come on. It's been so good, this show, man. You're killing me here. All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna just type it in here. Okay. So what's the name of it?
Lifelines for Canines.
Lifelines for letter K, number 9, right?
Yep.
On Facebook.
Should pop up with a picture of a droopy-eared dog.
Let me try this. Let's try to go to Facebook again. I might need to go over here. Oh, I know what's going on. Hold on. I'm on the wrong one. That's what it is. There we go. Okay, hold on. My for some reason, I normally use there we go. I normally use Fire. There you go. Yeah. Let me get. That's what you should see when you go to it.
Yep. Well, that's Jaeger.
I don't know why. Oh, there. I was okay. All right. Lifelines.
And there's actually a website too.
There we go. Okay.
I apologize for that, but it's Lifelines for Canines. .com.
Is it lifelinesforcanines.com?
Yep.
Okay, I found it. Here we go. So let me bring this up on screen here. There it is. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, now I can get the actual link. There we go. All right. Oh, no. Bobby said Argo will be the next to retire.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Argo has been put down to single purpose, so he's got a little foot issue going on, but he's still a madman. He's still crazy.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What if people were to go to this? Like, what can they? Okay, so it's a like you said, a 501c3. They just click on the website and they can donate directly to the organization.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, and the money goes for.
It goes straight to retired canines that need medical assistance, vet bills that can't get covered. We'll help whatever dogs we can if we have the funding, and like I said, Jaeger had about $100 bill every month, and we realized that the sheriff's department was unable to help, pay for that. And Carrie again came through. God bless her. She ran right down to my vet clinic at All Creature Features, where my fiance works, and put $300 in my account to help him.
Look at that. This is the canines you guys have helped, right?
There's a lot of canines from the area. Yeah.
Yeah.
And other awesome pictures.
ISP, Portage, MCPP. Yeah. Look at that. There's Bobby.
Me, Bobby.
Yeah, there's Bobby. All right. That's awesome.
His accomplice robbing the bank there,
huh?
Yeah. But that's Jaeger on the left there.
Right here?
Yep, that's Jaeger.
Oh.
He was a good boy, man.
Let me get back to that because it does. Oh, there. Now, is it letting me?
Yeah.
It can't decide.
Yeah, right. But that's him and I right there.
Okay.
Yep. That's Jaeger.
There we go.
He was young. He was young there, and that's kind of towards the end of his career where he's a little bit gray.
Yeah.
Kind of like I'm getting.
I hear you. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's like this, man. It just goes so quick.
It does. It seems like yesterday that I went and got him and time flew, but I had a blast, absolute blast in K9, and I miss it, going to those calls, knowing your backup was right there. All our guys have door poppers, and they get in a situation, they can pop that door open on the car at any time, and that dog is going to come help them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and I know it's an emotional subject for you with the canines, and I get it. Other than the lit tax and things like that, how can we as community members or potential legislators here help in the future to make sure that the sheriff's departments or the police departments or even ISP, Indiana State Police here, can have the funds to take care of these dogs after they no longer are in service? Do we need legislation for that? What needs to happen so that your charity is amazing, but it shouldn't be necessary. These departments, they take care of their officers with insurance.
Right.
So do we need legislation? What can we do to make sure that this happens?
Yeah, it's out of my extreme wheelhouse with legislation for this, but compassion. These dogs don't ask for anything.
Right.
They get dog food, and a tennis ball, and most people donate the tennis balls to us. So after the initial cost, I mean, the dogs really, in overtime, the departments have to pay the handlers overtime to take care of them while they're off duty because they can't take care of themselves. But yeah, if there was something set in stone that, aftercare was taken care of by the departments, that would be huge.
Okay.
That would be absolutely huge, because most dogs, unfortunately, when they retire, they die of a broken heart.
Right.
They don't last a long time after service because that's all they did. And then they go sit in a kennel or they sit in the house and they unfortunately seriously die of a broken heart. Jaeger was in his kennel and watched me drive away every day without him. And
yeah. Why am I not going?
I ain't used to it.
Right.
Yeah. But if legislation could draw something up and put something into the state funding for something like our charity does, a fund to take care of a service dog after it retires, because they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. They don't care. They just want their food and their tennis ball and to serve us.
Yeah.
And they're not only protecting the handlers, they're protecting everybody on these streets.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's I will see, I'm running my own election as y'all know. If I go to the state house, I will. It is certainly something that I will see what I can.
Yeah, and we'll do what we can to help with that for sure.
I'm doing it because I believe that this should happen. If I don't get elected, then I'll be writing letters and calling my representatives to make sure, because it's heartbreaking that these canines serve the community, they serve us, and they're just and I know it's a funding issue, and maybe that's something there's lots of money, there's lots of money.
In Jaeger's case, though, at the time, the donation fund from Red Wine and the Canine Donation Fund is all from donations, had roughly about $50,000 in it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was funded, and our Canine Donation Fund is thankfully is doing well, and it has been doing well, but it was at no lack of effort by myself, Deputy Greer, and all the other handlers going out to these events and volunteering time, and the dogs. People love the dogs. Dogs love putting on a show for them. I did it every year at the fair with. I did it every year at the fair with Jaeger, and we did it at the grandstand one year, and people loved it. Loved watching those dogs fly through the air like that dog. I don't know which dog that is biting there, but
that's so cool.
it's people. I mean, the dogs are needed. The dogs are wanted, and we have to do better for them for sure. And we're gonna with this. We don't have to depend on the sheriff's department or any department to care for them. We're gonna help as long as we have funding, and we need the help of the public for sure for that too.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There's a couple of really good causes for you. One, you get to go to, Wine and Brew. The other one, you can just donate your money to help these canines out. And I'm all for good causes. So hey, we're at over an hour and a half. I'm sure we could go on for hours, but I'm sure people want to get to their. I have stuff to do too. So
Survivor. I got to get to Survivor.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And good luck.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you as well.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Come November, you don't have an opponent now, but good luck to you.
Well, we'll be having and whomever wins, the invitation is extended to come on the show for the general and explain why you're a better choice than the Democrat.
We know that.
Yeah, well,
the Republican's a better choice, right?
Right. I have said this before, and I'll say it again during your show for those who maybe didn't watch your competitors. I invited all three of the Democrats running in the primary to come on the show. Two of the three said they would. They since will not answer my texts about it. I get it. It is what it is, but they are still welcome. If you're watching this, call me. We'll get you in before the primary, and you can explain why you're a better choice than your opponents. So
Yeah, Dion's harmless.
yeah, see, I asked the same questions regardless. Of course, I will ask you about if the federal government tells you to confiscate my arms, and your answer might be very different, but it is what it is. Seriously, though, thank you, Andy, and
You're welcome.
Wonderful evening. Once again, to find out more about him, what he's about, check him out on Facebook.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks for having me. Good time.
Bye. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is both of the Republican candidates for LaPorte County Sheriff's Department, or excuse me, LaPorte County Sheriff, not just the department. They will run the department. And you have to make your own choice. I can get them on here. I can have them answer your questions, answer my questions, but ultimately it comes down to you. You pick. And of course, I know Bobby is hashtag Team Morse. We know that. Excuse me. But it's up to you. You pick. And I'm going to tell you, most of you know this, but I'm going to tell you for first time or new viewers, the primary is so critically important. It is absolutely critical that you go, you pull a ballot, and you vote for the person that you believe in, because the primary is what determines what kind of firepower the Republican Party is going to have going into the general, right? Or the Democrat Party, whomever you're on board for. Everybody knows I'm a Republican. I'm running as a Republican. But if you're a Democrat, you still need to vote in your primary, because you're going to pick the firepower your team has going into the general. And if there's, like, for example, I'm just going to talk about this for a second. The 1st district congressional race. I swear, if you guys pick Leyva again, I am going to lose every ounce of sense that I have, because he has no chance of winning the general. Don't do that. Don't vote for him. You vote for who you want. But my thing is, he's had 9 times. 9, he's not going to win. Let's pick someone else. Let's advance it. Who that person is, that's up to you. You do your own research. But let's not do that. But I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Coming up tomorrow, we have Darren Kinsner. I think he's running for Senate. And then Saturday, we're going to have Richard. I want to say it's Ligon or Ligon. I can't remember how to say his name. I think it's Ligon. He's running for Lake County Sheriff. So he's going to be on the show. Check him out. Let him know. Let your people in Lake County know what you think of him after watching. I have extended an invitation to all the candidates to come on. Some have answered, some have not. I've already told you. But that's it. That's it. We have a few spots left. If you're a candidate or you know a candidate in the primary, let me know and we'll have them on before the primary election. Other than that, on or before May 3rd, pick your person, grab a ballot, do it. Do it. God bless you. God bless Indiana. God bless the United States of America.